Hey everybody. I wanted to make a video about the proposal assignment so that it's really clear. I hope that the assignment handout, the page 4 of the exploratory project handout is pretty self-explanatory, but just in case, here's some more information about that project. So the proposal assignment has several purposes. The proposal is going to propose to me what you're going to do in your paper. So it's going to commit you to your topic. Once you submit your proposal, you may not change your topic. You could still narrow down the same topic, but you can't completely switch to something from, say, prison reform to organic gardening. You will be staying within your same topic once your proposal is in. So that means that you need to do some research before you write your proposal. You will need to give me a little bit of evidence of your progress so far and demonstrate that this project will work, or this topic will work for your exploratory project. Okay, so the first things you need to do is submit your email with the 2 tentative research questions and check for my feedback and make sure your topic is approved. If I say, great, this sounds good, your topic is approved, then you know you can go ahead. If I say, no, you may not do this topic, or if I say, I want to talk to you before you proceed, then don't write your proposal on that. Make sure that you've gotten approval on your topic before you go forward with this. And then make sure that you start doing your research. You're going to want to make sure that this topic, that this research question will work for your exploratory project. So that means you're going to want to do enough research to know that you can find information from good sources on both sides, at least 2 sides of a debate, or that you're seeing competing perspectives, different ways to approach your research question. Again, with good information from both sides. So don't try to write this proposal until you've started doing some research. All right, so the next thing, your proposal will require some sub-questions that will be smaller questions about your topic that will show me your thinking. You know what, let's come back to this. We will look at a couple examples of sub-questions, but I want to come back to this and look at the assignment first. Okay, so here we are in D2L, and I'm going to go to the table of contents here. I'm going up to contents, and I'm going into the assignment handouts module, and clicking on the exploratory project. So I'm skipping down. You should have carefully read page 3 before you submitted your research questions. And on page 4 is the assignment for the proposal. This is only worth 25 points, so it's not a lot of points. It's an important assignment to get your research started, but it's not a super heavily weighted assignment, so I don't want you to feel a lot of stress about that. So top of the page, like I mentioned, before you start doing your proposal, I want you to make sure you have an approved research question, that you start doing your research, and that you read this entire page so that you know what's coming up. All right, so your proposal will tell me your plans for your research. As I mentioned already, it should commit you to your topic. You should not have a position yet. It's too early to know where you stand. You should be exploring both sides of a debate. For formatting, I'm not picky. Put your name in your document in double space. And the deadline is Monday, September 25th, 11:59 p.m. So here is the rubric. Here are the requirements for this. And if you do all of these things, you will earn full credit. Your proposal must have a research question that's appropriate for a research paper of this kind and scope on a topic that I've already approved. If you use that checklist on page 3, you should be okay there. You should have at least 3 relevant sub-questions. I'm going to come back to that in a minute to explain more about what I mean. It should have a brief synopsis of what you've learned so far, including a quick recap of at least 2 sides of the debate. This assignment is only 250 words or so, so it's just going to be a couple of sentences maybe about what you've noticed about the debate so far. So one side says this, and another side disagrees and says this. A brief explanation of how you carry out your research. Now, by this, I mean you should say that you're planning to use Google and OneSearch. That will be a good thing to say because you are required to use both. OneSearch is our library's search tool. You could also get more specific though. So you might say, I'm going to look at the government census website, or I'm planning to look into medical journals, or I plan to research what educators say about this. So just be specific about the research tools you might use, and that, notice that word how. How are you going to do this research? And then somewhere in there, you need to cite a source. You have a source analysis worksheet due as well on the same day. So the source that you cite, it would make sense if that's the source that you write your source analysis worksheet about. It doesn't have to be. Okay. So the proposal will also demonstrate that you're open-minded to exploring both sides of the debate. So if you have a position, that's a problem. And then generally just proofread to make sure your writing is generally clear, that you've written 250 to 350 words. Please don't go longer than that. And then, as always, if you use any information from sources, you need to cite the source that came from. I'm not picky about the rules for citing now. Just make sure you give credit to your sources all the time. Okay? I will approve your proposal and tell you to continue your research as planned, but if there's a problem, I might suggest that you have to do some certain things first, or I might tell you that you need to start over with a different question. Again, if I have approved your question that you emailed me, I fully expect you all to have your research proposal approved. Okay, so let us go back into D2L, or back into the slides actually, and take a look at what I mean by research questions. So the research, or the sub-questions. So you have a larger research question, but when I say that your proposal should have sub-questions, I'm talking about 3 smaller questions about your topic that are going to kind of break it down into smaller subjects and show me how you're thinking about it. These sub-questions are important because they might help you they will help you as tools for your research, because they will give you some other additional search terms that you might look for, and they're just going to help guide your research. Your sub-questions can definitely change as you research and find out more about your topic. Let's look at an example. Let's say that the research question is, what are the cognitive benefits of video games? That's the sample question we were working with last week. So here are a few things I might want to know. Do video games improve decision-making skills? Do they improve problem-solving skills? Those are both cognitive skills, so I'm trying to break that cognitive benefit down into smaller subtopics. And a third question might be, is the age of the player a factor? There could be lots more questions I want to know, but these are the first 3 that came to mind, so these might be the 3 that I include in my proposal. Here's another sample. This research question is, do police officers make high schools safer? So here are a few things I might be thinking about at this stage. Do schools with police officers have fewer problems with violence? Are police officers given special training to work with high school students? And what duties do these officers have in schools? So do you see how all of these sub-questions are more specific ways of thinking about my topic? They will help you start thinking through the kind of research that you might do, and they're showing me a little bit more about how you're thinking. So I want to go back into D2L, and if I go back into the table of contents, you may have noticed that there's this module called sample materials at the very bottom, and I have a couple of samples here for proposals for the exploratory project, the same assignment. So the formatting here is a little bit hard to read, but this is a good, strong proposal that earned full credit. This student starts by giving us her research question: should the federal drinking age be 18? So make sure you start with the basics, what your question is. She's telling me why she chose this topic. That's interesting to me. So you can include anything else you want to about this assignment, about your research question, in addition to the required material. Here she is giving us a little bit about what she learned about the topic. She's starting to tell us a little bit about her research, and she cites her source, gives us some background. So she gives us the main reason for having a 21-year-old minimum legal drinking age. And then she says, on the other hand, many feel that it should be changed back to 18. So she covers both sides. Here's one reason it should be 21, And here's a reason that some experts disagree. Okay, so here she's providing her sub-questions. What are the downsides to lowering it? If it were to be lowered, would the benefits outweigh the problems? Um, and how would alcohol consumption affect this age group with their still developing brains? And then she tells us how she is planning to do her research, and that helps her meet every different requirement for the proposal. Okay, there's another sample you can look at if you'd like. So again, this is just a um, uh, one-page paper that lets me know what your research question is, how you're thinking about it, and what you've started to learn about it, citing at least one source. If you have any questions about that, please do send me an email or stop by my office if you catch me during office hours. I'm happy to help you. I want you all to do well in this proposal because then you'll feel like your research is really heading in the right direction. Okay? Good luck with this. And again, let me know if you have any questions at all. I'm looking forward to reading your proposals and finding out more about your research.